What's going on, my loves? Knowledge Butterfly, sending you peace, blessings, love, and abundance, as always. I had a thought, an epiphany. I had been chanting one of the Ganesha mantras. It's literally but it's gum ganapataye namaha. So om gum gam Ganapatiye, which is Ganapatye, Namahe, and that Namahe is spelled Namaha. And it's a mantra for removing obstacles out of your way or whatever. And since I showed you my guys, my Ganesh elephant, which actually I didn't really get into, like showing you my Ganesh. So what I love about this elephant is it has like a butterfly pattern. So I knew it was meant for me. I knew that the spirit had definitely sent this one to me. It was the only one like it in the sky. Is what I was about to say, in the stars. But it was the only one like that in the store. And it has like some significant like colors that are very important to me, purple being one of those. Purple was my mom's favorite color, and those who have been, see my channel before or whatever, know that my mom actually transitioned to the astral plane, to the ancestor plane, back in 2009. It was February 12th, 2009, actually. So, which, when I think about that, that's an interesting day. However, it has, like I said, it has the butterfly pattern. It has 3 purple flowers going across, 3 being the Trinity. And then also it has like the colors red and green in it. Red is good because red does symbolize your root chakra, but red also signifies where your kundalini energy is stored. Your kundalini, your shakti, kundalini shakti energy is stored. So that's very important. And red to me also means manifestation. It means to me taking things from the spiritual, from the astral plane, from the blueprint, and then manifesting it into a physical existence. So that's why the color red is important. And if you notice this room, like, there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything that's going on in our lives is because it's something that the tusk keeps wanting to fall out, because I washed it and I cleaned it really good. So I'm going to have to glue that back on. But it's the left tusk, which is interesting. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, red. So nothing is a coincidence. This red, when I first started pet sitting for the lady that I assist or watch her babies, her pet babies. And I came into this room, I was like, I always pay attention to the rooms, like the colors of the rooms that I have been in since I've been, on my journey. And this room being predominantly red, when I first came here, I was like, oh shit, root chakra, because I was still in the mindset of finding a quote unquote negative aspect with everything, like looking at the polarities. When in actuality, yes, the color red does signify the root chakra, which is significant of a physical manifestation. However, when you are in a physical shell, you do have to manifest things in the physical. You don't want everything to stay in a fucking astral plane and a blueprint that never gets, that never comes to fruition. So yeah, so it was really cool. Now when I think about it, as well as I needed to go back to my foundation, to my roots, and when I say roots, I'm talking about the roots in the physical sense, which was going back and seeing my father, my sisters, and things like that, and moving past my, that human shit that I had to let go of. And if anybody's watched any of my videos, like back in July and August mainly, I was doing a lot of fucking root chakra work, a lot of sacral chakra work, and a lot of solar plexus chakra work. And it's very important because each one of those houses, because each one of your chakras are houses, you have to clean out that house. It's literally like you clean a house. In the physical sense, you have to clean out those houses, your chakras. In the spiritual sense, because you can't fill up an empty, a full house. You can't. So you have to empty out that house and you know make it ready to receive the things that you really want to receive. You know what I'm saying? So you have to let go of like any type of anger, any of the things that are holding you back from your greatest self. You know what I'm saying? For being your authentic self. So fear is rooted in those lower chakras. That's why, the fear to express yourself. That's why I do my YouTube channel and I continue pushing myself in that respect. However, I did realize as well I had to push myself working on my higher, because I had spent so much time working on my lower chakras. I also need to work on my upper houses as well. My crown chakra, my cerebellum chakra, which is where your medulla oblongata is, and that's also where your subconscious mind is, and also where your, even though we point here for your first eye, it is a projector, so it projects from the back. So one of my videos back in, I think, July, I was talking about how I was starting to feel it throbbing, and it was starting to throb because I was emptying out so much baggage that I was waking it up and I was activating it. So yeah, but that's getting on a whole nother thing, but a whole nother subject. But yeah, so I love my Ganesh. I love my little elephant that's representative of Ganesh, which is, I talked about, is a Hindu deity. All right. I believe is the son, in the mythology, is the son of Lord, I think, of Shiva and Parvati. I think, and Parvati. However, elephants are definitely fortunate, or for good fortune and wealth and prosperity. And remember, I told people who get so caught up on the whole like black white thing, or only wanting to look at African culture or melanated culture only in the things that are still clearly showing that it's from African heritage. You shouldn't get caught up in that, because every religion, well, all the deities were all created by Africans, were all created by our ancestors. So everything comes from the darkness. Everything comes from African culture. So Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, of course, we know Rastafari, Gnosticism, Vadu, or Vado, it pretty much anything you can think of stem from us. So Greek mythology, Roman mythology, all of that, everything, anything in South America, the ancient Aztecs, the Mayans, which were the Olmecs. And if anybody who's from Georgia, South Carolina, you should be familiar, in Florida, you should be familiar with the Olmec, which is Olmec, because all of that it started in Africa, but we ventured all over this plane, all over this clock that they call Earth. So we've already been across the clock, the world clock, the Earth clock, and we had established tribes all over, because we're tribal people. So anywho's, don't get caught up in what the face on that quote unquote religion looks like now, because all of that came from us. And now there are different looking people that are carrying on that, and if they didn't carry that on, then it would be dead, because we have been sleeping and dead. So it needed, everything happens for a reason, and everything is divinely ordered, basically. So in order to keep that thing alive, so that when we did wake up and start to wake up, we can start to take from we can start to get back into it and then take the things we need from each one of those traditions. Okay. And that's really the reason for this video, is that I wanted to talk about how we need to let go of only being the whole one-sided thing, because that's really being stuck in monotheistic religion. And that's how you know that you still have to work on your programming when it comes to religion. Like, if you grew up in any type of religion, or you're like one generation removed, or even two generations removed, that shit is encoded in your DNA. And so in order to break free of that, you have to change your perspective on everything, even like Taoism, everything. And that's Chinese, or what people see as Chinese. But you can Google and see that there were black Chinese there, and they were being oppressed just like all of the other melanated people on this plane. So once you start to take steps towards releasing how you see certain things, that is changing your perspective. And every time you change your perspective, you are literally opening up yourself to I was reading too, and then the light went out, but you're opening up yourself in order to grow, you know what I'm saying? And I actually also in order to open up certain DNA, or activate dormant DNA in your in your body. So mainly in your brain, because the chambers, most of your information and your knowledge is of course going to come from your subconscious mind. That is the genius. That's the genie in the bottle, is what I like to call it. So that's where all knowledge lies. That's where all wisdom lies. However, when you continue to like grow in your journey, like get closer and closer to your true being, your true self, those types of things start making sense. Because when I would hear other people talking about certain things, I'd be like, but that's not, because I still had that mentality where, even though I didn't want to admit it to myself at the time, I still had an inkling. I was holding on to that whole dogmatic way of thinking, which is linear, which is patriarchal, and thinking that things can only go a certain way, and that's really a left brain way of thinking, so that's why I'm now getting into the Kabbalah and the Qalipoff, which the Kabbalah, or the Tree of Life, the Sephira, part of which is the Tree of Life, is literally the reflection of the infinite side, which is the spiritual side. So the Qalipoff is the spiritual side. It's getting into the underworld. It's getting into the dark side, the dark forces, and the Sephira are the emanations. So I'm getting into that information, getting into Vadon, me pronouncing, because I'm so used to people saying voodoo, and I hate that word, and I know it has a negative connotation behind it. But I think it's called Vadon. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, forgive me. It don't charge it to my heart, because it's really coming from a good place. And then Gnosticism, finding documentation and books on that is a little bit more difficult. But the Nag Hammadi library, they have some information online or whatever. But that's really where the current Christian Bible took a lot of its information from, but it cut out the information that lets you know that you are the God, and that you are supposed to look at the story of Jesus, who they call Jesus, and use that as a blueprint, to show you that you can do the same thing, because you are God as well. It's just that, you've been living in your Luciferian state, or living in your, which actually Lucifer is the light bearer, but it's still living in your lower chakras, and you're supposed to allow that light to shine, so yeah. Excuse me, I'm gonna go ahead and put my beautiful elephant back. But yeah, isn't she beautiful? I call her she, even though Ganesh is, and actually to me Ganesh, they say is a male, but Ganesh is almost like androgynous. Most of the deities are androgynous, because of the simple fact, when you think about it, in a spiritual sense, it's all one, male and female. It's an energy, and it's all one. There's no separation. It only gets separated when you put it into a physical state, so, which is when you put it in a state of matter. And matter is just, something that appears to be a solid, even though everything is vibrating. And so, yeah, but so that's what I wanted to talk about, because we know that all religions point to one true source, and it all comes from one source, and it's just been dispersed out, which was what we did. We took it out into the world, and we built tribes, and then we changed the names on things and different faces and stuff like that. And then when the Europeans got a hold of it, and first the Greeks got a hold of it, they put white faces on our deities and changed some of the names, but it doesn't take the power away from it. You know what I'm saying? That's why in Haiti they're able to use like Saint Peter and different Catholic saints, Roman Catholic saints, to signify our deities like Papa Legba and things like that, of that nature. And that's because it's still the same entity. They just put a different face on it to confuse you. So they literally took our deities and changed them into angels. So where you had and that's how they got the one God in Christianity, and they changed them into saints. They changed all of the saints or angels, the archangels and the angels, the archangels and the angels, into saints and angels, but they're deities, they're deities like Oshun, Ogun, Abatala, and so on and so forth, which are the Orishas. But there's also there's so many deities, but that takes you getting into to the different forms of I don't want to call them religion. Some of them you can fall under religion, but the different forms of ancestor worship or ancestor reverence. So yeah, I hate when I start to think about it or start overthinking things. I have to bring myself back. But yeah, so my loves, that's really all I wanted to share. It was really a quick thought that came to mind, that we just need to know that it all comes from one source. Even the 5%ers, like all of that came from one source. The Moors, it all came from one source. So we're still all one blood. We're all still one nation. I remember when I was in Jamaica, and I was staying in Portland, and there's this really nice couple. They own Purple Haze Bar, and Purple Haze Bar is this cute little house or whatever, and they have this porch, and they be out there playing dominoes. Shit, I learned how to play dominoes in Jamaica. I had never played till I went to Jamaica, and they have a couple of walls that they let people write on. So you just take a marker, you write, whatever you want to write on it, So they had asked me, was I going to write on it? And finally, I was like, yeah, I'm going to write one day. But I also still had this little bit of fear, like, I don't want to write the wrong thing. What am I writing? Don't look right. Just all this bullshit. So finally, one day, I was like, I'm ready to do it. So I wrote, I think it was One Blood, One Love, One Nation. And I didn't take a picture of it, which is interesting. I didn't take a picture of it. I'm not sure why. And I that's what the spirit told me, just like remembering that we're all one. Like, it doesn't matter if someone is quote unquote Rastafari or quote unquote Christian or Muslim, even if they're not 100% where you are, because everybody's on different levels of learning. Everybody's in different grade schools, or grade levels. That doesn't mean that you're supposed to literally pass judgment on somebody, because at one point you were, at a lower level. And none of us have totally reached where we want to be. Most of us have not reached where we want to be. We're still going on that journey. We're still taking the road. You know what I'm saying? We're still on the road to self-discovery, into what I like to call illumination, like Illuminati status. being the great old one. Literally is the one that can sit back and know that you have achieved, you have achieved the hero's journey, or Haru's journey. When that information, when I was blessed with that information about, if you never have read about the hero's journey, you definitely need to like Google that shit. It is how pretty much any, not pretty much, every movie that has a hero in it, it follows that particular script. That it doesn't veer from the script at all. Just the names of the characters change. The location is different in the movies, but the shit is all the same. All the Indiana Jones movies, all the Jason Bourne movies, any movie you can think of that has a hero, that it follows that script. But anyways, I'm gonna end the video on this note because I'm still going on and on like I can do sometimes, because you know, especially when I haven't recorded in a while, I really realize that I can just keep going and going and going like the Energizer fucking bunny. But however, you know, my loves, I definitely appreciate you guys for listening and checking out my videos. Oh, it was one more thing I wanted to bring up. Yesterday when I recorded my videos, I brought up how I brought up Sekhmet, and I brought up how your zodiac sign can kind of, it can tell you what energy you incarnated on this plane with, because we all know, or most of us know by now, that we chose to come into this physical plane. Like we chose the day, we chose the month, the day, the year, the time, the parents, the location, like what state, what city, like the longitude and latitude. We chose all that shit, right? However, we don't really always enter and understand why we chose it. So we chose to come in during certain times because we need, the planet or plane needed a particular energy, so it had to have a certain balance of certain energy, and that it's the energy that we needed to bring forth into this plane, as well as is part of our lineage in the cosmos, that we're carrying with us here. So when I did this Egyptian cipher, it actually broke down based upon my full name, my full birth name. So we, you know, like I said, we chose our parents, so we knew what our name was going to be. So you count the numbers in your name, your first, middle, and last name. And this information actually came from one of the Bobby Hemmett videos. It was really interesting, but it came from one of his videos. And he was saying it was in an Aleister Crowley book, which deals with ciphers, which is a book I have to purchase because I couldn't find it online for free. So it's a book I have to find or order. However, yeah, take your first, your middle, and your last name, and you count the numbers. So mine's added up to the number 19, and 19 actually is a number for Sekhmet, which was an Egyptian, in Egyptian mythology. She's actually a lioness goddess, lioness. I'm actually going to do another video because I want to get into that a little bit more in detail. But peace, blessings, love, and abundance, my loves. Peace. Next video.